Welcome back, everybody, to Modest Josh. This episode, we're going to be welding and fabricating the frame rails on the '06 Scion XA. I did lose a little bit of footage, but I do still have a lot of footage to show you. But before we can get into the fun stuff, cutting and welding, let's clean this thing up a little bit. It just came from the junkyard, and it is super dirty. So let's go ahead and just clean it up and go from there. Now that I have the engine cleaned up, I can take a few things apart and show you the inside, starting with the oil pan. The oil pan here, and look underneath, and everything looks really good. Like really good. Oil, decent. Smells not burnt. What is this? Yikes, what is that? Gasket maker, no metal, that's good. So now I'm just going to remove the lift solenoid, check the lift screen for any kind of metal. Nothing in here. This thing is really clean. Whoever had this engine before really took care of it. So all I'm going to do is clean up the screen, put it back in there. Later on, I will replace the gasket and most likely the lift solenoid as well. This is from an '04 Celica GTS, so it did come drive-by-wire, but I will replace the intake manifold with a cable-driven throttle body. I can't believe how clean under the valve cover is. This nice golden brown, there's no sludge. The individual who had this motor before took really good care of it. What I want to do now is just go ahead and look at the lift bolts. These are common to break off and wear when lift engages. It's one of the downfalls or flaws to the 2ZZ. But I'm looking at this now, and it has just normal wear. There's some etching in it, nothing crazy. But I will replace these. I will order some new ones from Monkey Wrench Racing and just replace them. You know, for engine from the junkyard, nice, not bad. Close up of the C60 from the Celica GTS. The reason you're not going to want to use it is because the shift components are in the front, and not set up like your XA. The Corolla XRS is set up just like your XA and shifts in the back. Now I'm definitely in a hurry because you won't believe what just came into the yard. It was posted a day ago, and hopefully it's still here. This right here will solve my transmission problem. So I found my Corolla XRS transmission, and you won't believe what it came out of. Yes, a Pontiac Vibe GT. And yes, Pontiac Vibes had Corolla engines in them, the one in ZFE. They have Pontiac Vibe GT, also have the 2ZZ. This is exactly the swap you're going to want to swap into your Scion XA. But because I start off with a Celica GTS, I will be converting the transmission over to build my own XRS. So I'm going to take off whatever I can here, pick up a starter body for $15. The transmission was only $225. I'm going to salvage whatever I can. I'm going to grab any kind of cylinder that I can, spare parts, alternators, intake manifolds, anything I can grab. I also grabbed this ECU with wire harness for only $50. That's amazing. A spare valve cover for $20 because the old one was painted and it was kind of nasty. And this one was only $45. Now I'm just going to put some seals on and get into the fun stuff. Wow, it really cleaned up well. Now here's my custom built XRS 2ZZ ready to go into the XA. I did convert the intake manifold to cable driven, so this thing is totally ready to go. Set up AC compressor, alternator, replace starter. All these parts came from the junkyard. So I came to the junkyard here to just show you on this '06 Scion XA. And I want to show you the engine bay here. So if you look over here at this frame rail, I'm going to show you where I cut and modified, and then also down here where I cut and modified this part and notched it out because the 2ZZ doesn't fit in there, but you can make it fit with little modification. But after you've cut the frame rail out, it's pretty direct bolting. So let me just get in here and show you where I cut out everything. All right, so you're gonna cut about an inch and a half off this frame rail here. So the modification I did, I cut right around this area here. And originally my design was something like this, down with the AC compressor. And so I cut all this out. And then up top, it came up to about right over here. All right, that was the original design that I cut out. But then when I started getting into it, put the motor in the vehicle, I noticed that right here was a little tight and it was a little weird to kind of weld in. So my final design was more of a square. So I did square it off. It did make it a lot easier to weld pieces in. Now in here, there's two reinforcement pieces. This metal here is very thin. So what I did is every few inches, I added some metal pieces to reinforce, especially here where the mounting points are. So I have about four braces in there, and then I went ahead and filled them all in with bigger pieces of steel and welded each piece in sections, connecting them to the ones on the inside. Now the battery tray should be removed in this swap because it's just in the way. You can weld it in later. So down here, I kind of notched something like that in that area, just enough for the transmission to fit in here. Now you will be using, for this swap, you will be using your stock original XA bracket here on the silica. The mounts on the top of the transmission to right here, which is a very good mounting point. But the C60 has the same mounting bolts as the C50 transmission, which is in this original one in the Scion XA. And this mount right here does work, so you can use this. You're also going to use your original, which is not here, XA mount that has to be slightly modified, and bracket. On this side here, you will be using your Scion XA mount bracket right here, but you will be cutting it right in here, and all you're going to have is basically this piece right in here. And on top, this will be gone. You're going to be using your 2ZZ or Silica GTS mount, which I'll show you. You're going to cut it and modify it, and it's going to fit right in here with the spacer. All right, so now that you saw that, let's go back to the shop so I can go ahead and show you what I did and how to put it together. Here's the Scion XA bracket. I did remove this piece in the bottom. It was up here. I cut it off, put it on the bottom here, and then I welded it in. Check out that. Skills. Okay. So now it bolts up here properly. Beautiful. All right. All right, so now I'm going to be welded over here. So if you look and see where I notched out the frame rail for the transmission on this side, and also for all the accessories on this side of here. So I notched a lot of it out from the AC compressor all the way back to the time belt tensioner. I will be welding in some steel pieces as reinforcements in here. I just want to take a moment to thank my good friend Josh for letting me borrow his MIG welder and his tank, and for donating all his time for helping me learning how to weld with this project. I really appreciate all your help.
Go ahead, your B-roll is running.
Cool. Alright, so here we are on this side of the engine bay. I did weld in here some 14 gauge steel from that I picked up, and it's a little too thin. As you can see, some blow by, but it is pretty strong. I didn't really need it here, but I put it there. I didn't really need it there, but I put it there. So now what I did was I just took some really thick steel sheet right here. Just cut it down a little bit. Now if you can see there, this one's thicker than what the frame rail was. So I'm just gonna put it right in here. The support needs to be right here and right in here. I did kind of mess this one up in here. So I want to put this one here to make sure it's strong. All right, so what I'm using is a steel, some pretty thick steel. I already put 4 in place. Now we're just filling it in. I'm gonna put this in place, something like that, and weld it like that. So I'm gonna be painting it with some of this really awesome paint. Yeah, for a Honda paint coat right here. It kind of matches. Yeah, it works. All right. So it's gonna spray a little bit in here to protect it. Oh, it looks so good too. This is where my friend Josh came in. Wherever I messed up on welding, he came back and fixed it. I didn't record much of him welding, but when I did, I lost the footage. It looks factory. Well, that's the finished frame rail on the passenger side, and I'm pretty happy with the results. Wow, that was a pretty good footage. Now, if you like this content, please smash that like button, comment, subscribe. Just go ahead and just destroy that like button, because I'll tell you what, if you let me know you like this content, I will make more videos like this, and I'll make them even better. So, can't wait to see you in the next one. It's going to be exciting.